Good afternoon students. In the last video I have explained about the special audit techniques. In that, the first one, audit software, I have explained. The next one is the test data. So here the test data is the data that is used in tests of a software system. In order to test the software system, this test data is used. In order to test a software application, you need to enter some data for testing most of the features. So any such specifically identified data which is used in tests is known as the test data. So this test data means it is the data that is used to test the software system. So in order to test the software system, someone has to you need to enter the some data. So that data is called as the data that is used to test the software system is called as test data. You can have test data in Excel sheet which can be entered manually while executing test cases, or it can be read automatically from files by automation tools. Some test data is used to confirm the expected result. That is, when test data is entered, the expected result should come. And some test data is used to verify the software behavior to invalid input data. So, in order to test the system software, the test data is used. The test data is generated by the testers. It is created by the testers or by automation tools which support testing. And most of the times in regression testing, the test data is reused. It is always a good practice to verify the test data before reusing it in any kind of test. So that is about the test data. Next is the test data generation techniques. So these are we'll see the test data generation techniques. The first one is the random test data generators. So the random test data generation is probably the simplest methods for generation of test data. The advantage of this is that it can be used to generate input for any type of programs. Thus, to generate test data, we can randomly generate a bit stream and let it represent the data type needed. So here the random test data is it is the simplest method for generation of the or creating the test data, and the advantage of this is that it can be used to generate the input for any type of the program, and thus in order to generate the data test data, we can randomly generate a bit stream or let it represent the data type needed, which type of data is needed. However, the random test data generation does not generate quality test data as it does not perform well in terms of coverage. So here the random test data generator, it will not generate or create the quality test data because it is lack in coverage. In terms of coverage, it will not cover everything. So that is the disadvantage of this. Next is the goal-oriented test data generators. So the goal-oriented approach provides a guidance towards a certain set of paths. It provides the guidance towards certain set of ways or paths. The test data generator in this approach generate an input for any path U instead of usual approach of generating input from the entry to the exit of a block of code. So in other test data generator, we use entry to exit input of a block of code in order to generate the test. But here in this case, the test data generator in this approach, what happens, they will generate an input for any path, any way, that is U instead of usual approach. So thus the generator can find any input for any path P which is a subset of path U. So this drastically reduces the risk of generating relatively infeasible paths and provides a way to direct the search. So it will it will direct or instruct for the search which one we want. Next one is the pathwise test data generator. So the pathwise test data generation is considered to be one of the best approaches to the test data generation. So it is considered as one of the best approach in the test data generator, and this approach does not give the generator the choice of selecting between multiple paths, but just gives it one specific path for it to work on. So in the goal oriented test, we can see there will be many paths in order to generate the test data, but in case of pathwise test data generator, instead of using many paths or many ways, it uses only one specific path for it to work on. Hence the name pathwise test data generator. That's why it is called as pathwise test data generator. Thus, except for the fact that this method uses specific paths, it is quite similar to goal oriented test data generation, because even the goal oriented test data generator, they also uses paths. That's why it is similar to this pathwise test data generator is similar to goal oriented test data generation. The use of specific paths lead to a better knowledge and a prediction of coverage. However, this also makes it harder to generate the needed test data. So that is about the pathwise test data generator. Next one is the last one, intelligent test data generator. So the intelligent test data generator depend on sophisticated analysis of the code to guide the search of the test data. Here the intelligent test data generators are essentially utilizing one of the test data generation method coupled with the detailed analysis of the code. Here in this intelligent test data generation, here what happens means they will analyze there will be a detailed analysis of the code in order to generate the test, and this approach may generate test data quicker than the other approaches, but the analysis required for the utilization of this approach over a wide variety of program is quite complex. Compared to all other method, this is the quick method of or a quick approach to generate the test data, but it required the analysis required for the utilization of this approach over a wide variety of program is quite complex and requires a great deal of insight to anticipate the different situation that may arise. So that is about the test data generation. Thank you.